Things just got worse and worse and worse as the night went on. Again, valiant effort down the stretch for the Bucs. Just too little, too late. Let's go down and let's see what Coach Fletch and the rest of the crew has to say. And as always, go Bulls. So let's head into the locker room right now and see what the guys have to say about that one. Wow. Where do the Buccaneers go from here? What an incredible atmosphere. What a good win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They snapped a 7-game winning streak. How we feeling, Bucs Nation? It's time to party, baby. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Recher podcast. Happy September 10th. It's hump day. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day, whether you're here in the Tampa Bay area or abroad. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. I am everywhere. Instagram, like and subscribe on YouTube. We got another fantastic show. We've started this week off hot. It's been a hot week. So far, it gets even better. Today, USF linebacker Jaylen Schuler is going to join us on the program at 12:10 today. Shu in the house. He's been fantastic through 2 games. He and Mac Harris, what a tandem for USF football. We also, at 1 o'clock today, have Evan Closky joining us on the program. You know, when Klossky stops by, we're going to talk a little bit of everything. I love all of you guys. Mwah. Mwah. Especially you out there. I appreciate you watching. Couldn't do this without all of you guys. I always am very appreciative of the love and the support. Again, follow me at Recher on all those social media platforms, and we got to show love. We got to show a love to our guy, Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC. There's the QR code right there, 813-244-0956. All of your residential and commercial needs, they can help you out. Kitchen, bathroom renovations, and of course, you want to support a USF Bull, then our guy Russ and the family over there at Honest Hammer, they will help you out. Let them know that you heard it right here on the Recher podcast, and you get a discount. You cannot beat that. Got some great guests also coming up later on this week on the program. Rob Motti from the AP is going to join us on the program tomorrow to talk about AP voting and his thoughts on the Buccaneers and the starts of the NFL season. And then our guy, Trevor Sikkema, Pewter Report, did the Draft Network. He's with PFF. He does everything. He is the man we love. Trevor Sikkema is going to join us on the program on Friday at 12:30. So we are very excited as we get ready for USF in Miami and also the Buccaneers in week 2, Monday night against the Houston Texans. So Monday we can talk a lot of NFL and college. Tuesday will be all Bucs. I'm a huge fan of that. Jaylen Schuler joins us at 12:10, so make sure you keep it locked right here. I want to hear from you. Questions, comments, concerns, leave them there at the bottom of the screen. Benny, first time, long time. You got it. DT, you got to be quicker than that, buddy. You got to be quicker than that. Some breaking news when it comes to the NFL. Looks like Cam Johnson named NFC Special Teams Player of the Week because of that long punt return. Good for him. And people were wondering, is it going to be Tez Johnson? Is it going to be Cam Johnson? It don't matter. It's one of the players on our team that can return kicks, and he has done a fantastic job so far. And I know a lot of people are wondering, why does Cam Johnson make this roster? And you heard it when they were talking about Josh Williams too. There's certain players that teams bring up unprovoked. They'll bring him up before anybody else talks about him. And Cam Johnson has always been one of those guys. They like his versatility. They like his speed. They like his ability to be able to catch the ball out of the backfield. And now they can see what he can do on the return game. So now you have Tez. Now you have Cam. Now you have Sean Tucker. I mean, chef's kiss, man. You got to love that thing. And I'm excited to see what those guys can bring to the table because you need everybody. You need everybody. It cannot just be one guy. It can't just be, we're going to rely on Mike Evans. That's it. It's got to be everything. Everything. All right. Lady Evil, you're third. Come on. But first, in our hearts, Dolan, what up, Jay? There was a ton of talk on Dan Patrick about USF. Beautiful. Beautiful. Do what David Terry says. Beat the hell out of that like button. Kill that like button, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter/X. Kill that like button for me. And if you guys want to contribute via the super chat, every single contribution helps. $1, $2, $2, $5, $10, $20, whatever you can do to bring yourself into the program. And look at Lady in the house. The beautiful Lady Garcia is here. Thank you for joining the program. You are one of a kind. You are the best. Bart Hill. What up, Jay Bird? What's going on, Bart, man? My guy. Love Bart. Always love the support. Yeah, looking at this Buccaneers team and going into week 2 of this regular season, and we'll have the Beckles and Recher podcast today at 3 o'clock. So make sure if you haven't subscribed, you do subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we will be going live at 3 o'clock today from the Dignitary Cafe at 4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard. And one of the things we're going to talk about on the program today is the kind of the shifting of the offensive line. We saw that late switch there where Graham Barton got kicked out to left tackle. Michael Jordan comes in as the guard, and then Ben Bredesen is the center. Do they do the same thing in week 2 against a much more vaunted pass rush in the Houston Texans than we saw with the Atlanta Falcons? And we've seen for the last couple of years why Atlanta has struggled on defense, and one of the big reasons why is they can't get home to the quarterback. They've tried to address it, whether it's through a trade or free agency. Remember when they brought Matthew Judon in last year, or when they're going out and getting Jhalyn, or they're getting James Pierce in the draft. I didn't see much of a difference in week 1 against the Buccaneers. Still early, but I think maybe that had something to do with maybe the comfort level of why Todd Bowles and Josh Grizzard and Kevin Carberry, the offensive line coach, were comfortable in making that move. So as I say that, though, the Buccaneers have to worry about them, right? As much as good as how good the other team is, they got to put what they feel is their best team out there, regardless of the opponent. So I really wonder if there will be a continuity there built because of what you saw in game 1, and just keep it the same guys. Graham Barton at left tackle, Michael Jordan at left guard. You have Ben Bredesen there, and then your right guard is Cody Mauch, of course, with Luke Gedeke as well. So we'll see. We'll see. And, it's a Monday night affair. We know how Todd Bowles and the Buccaneers struggle on those primetime games. Hopefully it's kind of a start of a new day, and they come out ready to play. They got to run the football a whole heck of a lot better than they did in week 1. I think a lot of people would say that, even the most optimistic of Bucs fans. But if they can do that, man, watch out. Because Houston, I tell you what, this is a team that, especially after that strong rookie campaign from C.J. Stroud, a lot of people were thinking, okay, here we go. Here comes C.J. Stroud. Where does he fit into the entire equation? Where does he fit in? Where does he fit into the entire thing, right? Does he kind of knock up that upper echelon? Is he in the conversation? Maybe not at that time, but is he on his way to being in that conversation with Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes? Is he in that second tier of quarterbacks? Well, naturally, you have a little bit of a regression in year 2 when you have a lot of success in your rookie campaign, but not really much to write home there in week 1 against the LA Rams. So they're going to be looking to right the ship, and the Buccaneers are going to try to maintain, like, okay, you had trouble. Whatever they saw from Sean McVay and the LA Rams defense, they're going to try to duplicate that in week 2 to try to get some success and to keep CJ Stroud and Nico Collins. And, we see Nick Chubb that's in there for Joe Mixon. I mean, what can they do to keep those guys off the scoreboard? Regardless of what happens with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the one thing that I love about them, and you hear this more and more when it comes to whether it's quarterbacks or teams, it doesn't matter if it's pretty early. Finish strong. That's the message from a lot of coaches out there. Play a full 48 if you can. But if anything, I would rather want my team to finish strong than to start fast. That to me is way more important. And you look at J.J. McCarthy and what he was able to do for the Vikings. Yeah, it didn't look pretty early, but the kid finished with 2 throwing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, and leads them to a win on the road against the Chicago Bears, a huge divisional matchup for them. So same thing with the Buccaneers. It doesn't have to be pretty early. It doesn't have to be pretty in the first half. Just finish strong, especially on the road. And if you can do that, I think you'll be in good shape. All right, we're going to bring him in a little bit early here because I know he's a busy, busy man. And he is part of one of the top teams in the country, one of the top defenses in the country. Let's bring him in. It's our guy, Shu, in the house. Jaylen Schuler, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
How you doing?
I'm good, buddy. You got class today? How's class going?
No, I don't have no class.
I'm old, man.
You old. I ain't saying you ain't as old as me. How does it feel, man? What was the vibes like at practice today, Shu?
Honestly, no different than week 1, if I'm being real.
Yeah.
For the most part, we try to stay level-headed, stay humble, keep all the outside noise outside. So for the most part, we just trying to attack this week, just like we do every other week.
Yeah, shoot. I try to get Coach goals. Come on, Coach. It's got to be different. He's like, Jay, it's the same process every
Yeah,
single time. Like,
yeah,
he ain't playing around. And this was last year. It wasn't even this year. He's like, Jay, it's the
yeah.
same thing, dude. I can't get too high. I can't get too low. But what was that? We'll go back to that game. I mean, what was that like? I mean, Gainesville, not an easy place to play. You're going up there in the swamp, and you guys are just grinding it out, man. You're playing that bend, but don't break defense. You're keeping them out of the end zone. When Nico's kick goes through the uprights, what was that emotion like? Because you had to celebrate a little bit before you got back to the locker room.
I mean, I found Mac, Mac who played beside me. We just kind of found each other, and we was just pretty much just screaming in each other. I don't even remember what we were saying, but just screaming in each other's face. Obviously, I got up, found Nico at some point, and what I'm saying, congratulated him for that moment and everything. But yeah, it was crazy. First time in school history beating Florida, beat them at the Swamp. Second ranked team in a row. You can call it what you want, but everybody pretty much said, all right, yeah, you beat Boise, but it was a weak Boise, Ashton Genty, whatever. It ain't gonna be the same for Florida. And then obviously that's what they're saying now about this week too. So it's just like, you do it one time, it might have been lucky. You do it two times, it stand for something. So yeah, it was a lot. It was big.
Do you guys ignore that outside noise, Shu? I mean, it's one thing where, like, I don't think it's going to depend on how hard you work when it comes to practice, but do you use that as a chip on your shoulder going, hey, man, we have the two best, we have the best resume so far in college football, and people are still doubting us. Do you use that as motivation at all?
Nah, not at all. Because with those handful of people that are saying, we still ain't gonna do nothing, it's also the people who are saying, we the best team in the country. So, Rev said it after the Florida game. As a matter of fact, he said the difference between a pat on the back and a slap in the face is about 18 inches. So, if you listening to everybody saying you ain't this or whatever, you're gonna listen to everybody saying you the best team in the country, and vice versa. Like I said, for the most part, drown all the outside noise in, keep your inner circle, which is, what I'm saying, us, our staff, our players. Just keep everything in house and focus on what we got, because it's about us at the end of the day. It don't matter if we playing Boise, Florida, Miami. It's about us.
Last time I talked to you was after the week 1 win at Boise, and we were talking about the Avengers, you and Mac, and it's so many people are like, bro, this is the funniest thing you've ever posted. And I asked you then, I want to ask you again here, like, now after that win, you just said you found him, like, how great is that to be able to do something that's never been done, but to be able to do it with a guy like Mac? Because I was looking at Mac's thing. This dude, he committed to USF under Charlie Strong. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you guys have been and you've seen the ups and the downs, the peaks and the valleys. Like, what is it like to be able to share that with one of your closest buds?
I mean, everything, and you say closest bud, like genuinely, like we live together, like that's my dog. Like we like this, literally two peas in a pod, and like it's just stuff that we talked about. Like obviously he's been here a little longer than me, but I got here that last Jeff Scott year, so like we went 1-11 together, like what I'm saying. Then we had the 2 7-6 seasons together, and like all this is just the stuff that we talked about, like the type of play we want to show, and I did. We both did pretty good. What I'm saying, for these first 2 weeks, but I got some national recognition week 1, and he got some national recognition week 2. So like, it's just like genuinely, just as happy as I am for my own success, I am for his, and I know it's the same way around. So like, being able to share this experience with somebody as close as I am with Mac is you can't really put it into words how good it is, how good it make you feel.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I know you guys are kind of keeping that level playing field and kind of not getting too high, not getting too low, and treating it like any other day. But we know that the challenge ahead is, you're facing the number 5 team in the country. And what's the mindset other than just kind of keeping things the same? But how do you guys do that? It's easy to say that, but how do you make sure that every single day of practice, you keep your head on straight, and you know that you don't like look too far ahead into the future? Because we know what that outside noise would say if you guys win that game. How do you and Mac and those other leaders kind of keep everybody rolling in the right direction?
I think that started, all that part of it started before the season even started. Like for the most part, like you can't gain confidence through wins or losses or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You gain all the confidence and you gain the type of program and the type of mentality you want to have throughout the whole off season. So and even we can go even further back to when AG and them first got here. Our strength coach Gio, he told us one of our first days lifting. He said our biggest problem is gonna be how we handle winning. Like he said he not worried about, you know what I'm saying, wins law. He worried about how we gonna handle winning. And this was back in 2023. They first got here. So, like I said, for the most part, being able to maintain that mindset and that focus and that sense of urgency and attention to detail and all that, pretty much just go all the way back to the type of culture and the type of standard and mentality AG and the staff instilled in us when they got here.
Sure, I can close my eyes and hear Alex Golesh telling me, Jay, there's no silver linings. There's no moral victories. This is last. And I'm sure you can close your eyes and you hear him talk about process over outcome and all these different Alex Goleshisms, as I like to call them. But what makes him so great, right? What makes him be able to be a guy that can lead you guys to back-to-back bowl victories and then a 2-0 start to the season as a guy that listens to that message, as a guy that he relies on to be able to disseminate that message when you guys get on the field? What makes Alex Golesh so special?
It's genuine, man. Like, it's real. It's super straightforward. It's you know what I'm saying? It's blunt. It's brutally honest, and it's genuine. Like, you can fit. Like, when he talks to the team, when you see him speak. I know y'all probably saw the clip of him talking after the game, and like, it's genuine. Like, it's real. Like, everybody through the locker room can feel it, and him and all the other coaches. And I feel like over these past 2 or 3 years, he's tried his hardest to bring in more guys like that, player as in the player standpoint. So, like, guys like myself and Mac, and then like a lot of the other guys who we brought in. So for the most part, yeah, it's I don't want to say it's solely just him. It's just like I said, the type of people that he's brought in.
So it's those coaches, yeah. So those coaches and players that come in, it makes it easier. I don't want to say it makes it easier, but I think that's a way, isn't it, to make sure that the message never gets lost, because whatever you do, even off the football field, and how important is that too, Shu? Like, making sure that you guys are representatives. And I know how close that Coach Amir Abdur-Rahim was to Coach Golesh, and I got a chance to know Coach Amir very well as well. And just the way to treat people, the way you handle yourself off the field, how important is that? What's that message like, to know that you're not just representing, the football team on the field, but you're also representing the football team and the athletic program off the field as well?
It's almost bigger than how we represent ourselves on the field, honestly. Like, you know what I'm saying? We want great players, obviously, but I think we want even better people. And like I said, over the past 2 or 3 years, we had some players who were pretty good, but just, you know what I'm saying, couldn't get on board to the mindset and the you know what I'm saying, the wave that we're trying to go on. So throughout the years, we kind of weeded those people out. And like I said, AG and the staff did a great job bringing more coaches and more players in who want to fit into that mold that we wanted as a team. So, and I'm talking about something as simple as don't park in a handicap spot. Like, if you're trying to go into the dining hall, like, like just small things that people wouldn't even think about. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you see something, pick it up. And obviously everybody said that, but like, nah, like, you mean it. Like, you see one of your teammates that you don't know sitting down in the dining hall by themselves, just instead of go grabbing it to go box and walk out, go sit down with them. You know what I'm saying? So just that love piece of it, like, where it's easy to kind of fail or do whatever if you know what I'm saying, you just worry about yourself. But if you genuinely care about the people who you're working with, it makes it so much harder to mess up, because like, you thinking, dang, I can't let these guys down. Like, I told these boys I got them. Like, so being able to get a genuine connection off the field, I feel like almost is as, or if not more important as what we do on the field.
This really ain't the same old South Florida, huh?
Not even close.
It's wild, man. Talk to me. What is it like to be on the sideline and looking at your quarterback, and he's just running over defenders? I mean, you're not on the field at that time, and you've got to be jumping out of your skin, like, get me the hell back out there. What kind of motivation, what kind of energy does that give you guys as a defense when you see Byram, like, yeah, I want to take more physicality, I want to take some hits. When that guy doesn't back down from contact, what kind of motivation does that give the entire team, but especially you guys on the defense?
Man, honestly, if I wish you were here throughout camp or whatever, just to see like how physical and gritty camp was, and to see BB come out there the first game of the season, and I believe he trucked a bunch of people. Like, that ain't no one-time thing. You know what I'm saying? that BB, like, all right, look, this is what we doing. And so for your quarterback to be on that type timing, it just set the bar here. So as a defense, you know what I'm saying, as a team in general, but as a defense specifically, we want to play that way in general. We want to rough people up. We want to play fast. We want to play physical. But when your quarterback is doing, it's like, okay, this is the standard we having, then it's a no-brainer. All right, that's what we doing.
Yeah. What about DC Todd Orlando, man? He was catching some strays, man. They were like, well, I don't know about this guy. And, the outside of the USF. And I'm just like, dude, you got to give this guy some time. And I had USF linebacker, great Sam Barrington on with me yesterday. He goes, Jay, you don't understand, like, how it takes time. It takes time for a DC to get guys in there and guys to buy in, for those players to be used to a defense. And now that you and Mac and some of the guys that have been there understand the defense, I mean, you can see, you guys are taking off, but what's that relationship like with you and him and the rest of the defense, and how he's kind of grown into being, man, one of the most, talked about coordinators in college football through a couple weeks?
Yeah, T.O., that's my guy, man. Like genuinely, initially coming in, I didn't really gravitate towards any, specific culture or none in general. But like you said, as time going, as we start clicking and getting more accustomed to the defense and everything, he just became like more and more of like my rock. Like at this point, he'll tell you himself, he'll be like those guys are an extension of me. Like you got two veteran seasoned dudes who played a lot of snaps who can. I think it makes it easier for him too. Like as a coach, as a play caller, like I think it really takes a lot off him having guys like us who can kind of run the floor. But that's my dog, man. I like genuinely, and I feel like everybody on our defense would actually run through a wall. The indoor right there, we would all probably run through the walls of the indoor, like if he wanted us to, because genuinely, like same how I said with AG, like he get up there and he talk and it's real. Same thing with T.O. Like out shoot, we get done with this, I'll probably go up there to the office. If not now, probably a little bit later today. But no, like that's my dog, and everybody on the defense like loves him. Everybody on offense loves him. He get up and talk in front of the team, and the offensive guys like, man, bro, I wish you could talk to us every day. Like that's a real hard nose, like it's exactly what you need as a defensive coordinator, if I'm being real.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What does Jaylen Schuler do on a day like today? After practice, you go home, you kind of, let your hair down a little bit. What are you doing to relax? Were you playing video games? You watching TV? You cooking? What are you doing?
Nah, I usually just go lay out. Well, today it's pretty cool today. So I probably go lay out on the patio. I got a dog. I usually lay down with my dog.
What kind of dog?
He's a mutt. I found him on the street about 3 years ago. Yeah. I found him on the street a couple years ago. So
take us through that story, Shu. How'd you find your dog?
It was at home in South Carolina. My brothers and cousin called me and it was like, hey, like it's a box of dogs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much like we got these dogs and nobody knew what to do with them. And I was like, I mean, why not take one? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I took one. My brother took one. My cousin took one. I think they ended up selling them, but I was like, nah, you mine. And so we just kind of been just like this. And shoot, I can't get up off the couch and go pour a glass of water without him coming and following me.
What's his name?
Zeus.
I love that. What are we watching anything on TV? What shows does Jaylen Schuler watch?
I ain't really too crazy on actually sitting down and watching new shows. I have a bunch of shows that I would just watch over and over.
All right, who you got? What are they?
I watch Stranger Things. I like Criminal Minds.
Oh, Criminal Minds is my jam.
Yeah. I'll turn on The Sopranos every once in a while.
Criminal Minds get you thinking, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You'll be watching Criminal Minds, you'll be like, damn, people are like that? Like,
right?
It's some crazy things, man.
And I like Criminal Minds because, you can fall asleep and then wake up on another episode. It's not in chronological order for the most part. Like it's just every episode is something different. So, but yeah, Criminal Minds I watch it that might be the one I'll turn on a little later today. Honestly,
you start looking around the corner you start looking at the world a little different after you watching Criminal Minds. That's for sure. Shu, what's the mindset going into this weekend and the rest of, and I know it's, kind of doing the same thing, but just as far as for you individually, knowing that, hey man, this is my last hurrah, you came back, you dealt with some injuries, man, what's the focus? What's kind of the goal for you, not just this weekend, but for the rest of this season for yourself?
Honestly, I try not to set personal goals. If I'm being completely honest, I want to come in here. I want to do whatever I can for my team. Like, I don't have a X amount of games I want to win. I don't have a award I want to win. I don't want to have a number of tackles I want to hit or nothing. I literally, if whatever I can do to help my team, that's what it is. That's what it's gonna be.
The man, the one and only Jaylen Schuler. You have done such a great job representing the team and our community. Continued success, my friend. Stay healthy. Good luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks, buddy.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Yes, sir. Go Bulls. Go Bulls. My man, Jaylen Schuler. Unbelievable. What a great guy. And that's the thing. We've been talking about that a lot when we're talking about sports the last couple of weeks, man. It's not just about the success on the field. It's about the human beings off of it. And like you just hear, Jaylen Schuler's got a rescue dog. They left a box of dogs in South Carolina in his family, and they took him. Like, come on, man. This guy's the best. He's the best. I love this guy. One of my favorite USF players of all time now. No doubt about it. The man. How cool was that? Jaylen Schuler, number 7 for your USF Bulls. Great to hear what he had to say about Alex Golesh and his leadership qualities and how he was a guy that something fell. Well, we're good. He is a guy that understands that it's bigger than him, right? It's the whole team. And I'm a big believer. I don't know, to be honest with you, I think sometimes like I don't want to get too like preachy on here, but somebody once told me like you would be a really good preacher or a pastor. I don't know if I'll ever be that religious to be able to go down that road, but I feel like in my heart and in my soul, I'm a teacher, and that's why I'm back coaching baseball, 3 freaking teams. But I can't say enough. And Eric Moreno, I see you there. If you want to call in, you can call in now, pal. I really want to disseminate positivity here and good vibes as much as we can. Like, listen, there's tough conversations we're going to have. There's things that may not be the greatest in the world. Like we were talking about that AP voter, like everything's not going to be, rainbows and butterflies and things like that. But man, if we can understand something here on this podcast, on this show, that good things happen to good people, great things happen to great people. And there is a common thread amongst people that are successful. And you see that over and over and over again. And we have conversations with these guys and gals, and you want I don't know if that's a secret. I don't know if there's a secret sauce there. I don't know if that's something that's really hard to explain. Is it? It may be hard to do. It may be hard to execute. It may be tough to live life like that. But man, I look around and the interactions that you have with people. And I'm not talking about the coach and the baseball side now. I'm just talking about just the people I've been around in sports, like some of the best people, right? Mike Evans. I interviewed him years ago. I was just a newbie, a greenhorn at WDA. I was doing a story on G-Cuts, the guy that cut his hair. Unbelievable dude. And he was about to go inside, and he comes back out. He's like, Jay, my bad. I told you I'd talk to you. Comes all the way out. I mean, the way that Steven Stamkos and the Lightning treated me after we lost our little guy. Yeah, I mean, that it's no surprise, right? It's no surprise that people like that have success. Victor Hebben, another guy, like just all he does for our community and the Humane Society. And, you look at people like John Cooper and Todd Bowles and, Amir Abdur-Rahim. And man, we're blessed. We're blessed with a lot of good people here in the Bay Area. There's the stream. If you want to get in, click on the link there. If you guys want to chat, whether you're on the phone, whether you're on the laptop. Jeff Taylor, hold up, rescue dogs. This man is my favorite player now. Humble and good dude. Fantastic interview. Yes, sir. Nathan, Criminal Minds very much have a time order. Yes, but I understood what he was saying, Nathan, because I watch Criminal Minds too. So in a way, they are chronological, but what he was saying was that you can kind of pick up a show in the middle of it and still be able to watch it. I got what he was saying, and I know what you're saying too, Nathan, because I do think it's one of those rare shows that can be chronological, but I think you can watch it even if you don't follow it. Like you can watch an episode here and there. But man, some of those stories, and one of my favorite characters in all of TV history, Dr. Spencer Reed, who has an eidetic memory. Yeah, I love that guy. Love that guy. I have a little bit of that. I have a little bit of the I don't want to say eidetic or a photographic memory, but I do have certain things that stick in my mind at times. Like if you show me your name, right? So like Nathan's a really good example of this, right? So you see Nathan's name on there, right? Nathan Elliott. And if somebody spells his name with one L or one T, something goes off in my brain. And I'm like, what the hell is that? It's like that with numbers too. Like if somebody put Baker Mayfield number 8 instead of number 6, like I wouldn't just look at it and just like say, oh, that's wrong. Just something in my brain that's like an alarm that goes off like, that's wrong. That's wrong. And people are like, how do you remember this stuff? Like, I don't know. From a little kid, probably reading the box scores in the newspaper and that kind of sticking with me at a very early age. Our guy Eric Moreno's in the house. He's going to be Emilio. What is this?
It was my dad's name. It's actually my middle name. So
what's up, brother?
I guess I can. I guess we can all focus our attention to the Bucs because I mean the Rays. I mean, they win 7 in a row and then win that first game against Cleveland and then lose 3 in a row. I'm like, that's. I was hoping for 3 out of 4, maybe a split, and then you lose the rest of the 3. So I'm like, I don't know. Even if they win every series, I mean, Seattle is. I mean, we're still 4.5. I mean, so we're gonna. So yeah. So pay my attention to the Bucs now.
What'd you think of that week 1, buddy? What'd you think of that week 1?
That win? Was man. When they missed that field goal, man, I was like, yeah, I literally dropped on the floor. I'm like, yes. I'm like 3 minute. Had goosebumps from last year because remember, Koo tied it with like a 58-yarder. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! And then they walk it off. But now both teams get chances. So I think that's cool. Each team has a chance.
I love that. So what are you looking for this weekend, buddy?
We got to get better in the run game. I think Bucky had some good runs. Mm-hmm. I wish they would use Tucker more. He's just a beast.
Right.
White, is our best pass protector. So, yeah, maybe. And then we got to get Kate out. I don't think Kate Auden, besides that one, Baker missed him, and then he didn't. I mean, he's a pretty good pass blocker. I'm surprised they didn't. It's hard to keep Kate Auden, Durham, Keith, and Devin Cope. I really like Devin Cope. He's almost. I mean, he's undersized, but he's pretty fast for a tight end. So yeah.
What do you got for a prediction for Monday night's game?
It might be low scoring. I mean, it was I'm worried because the Texans lost, so they're going to come out on Monday night at home. I know they lost Cade Stover, but they still got Dalton Schultz. Mm-hmm. Dalton Schultz is pretty good too. Nico Collins.
Right.
The other receiver got hurt. I'm trying to think of his name. That had the nasty injury.
Tank Dell,
yeah. Is he gonna? So, yeah. They got Nick Chubb. Against Joe. I mean, that's a pretty good 1-2 punch when Joe Mixon comes back.
Yeah, and a couple of guys that they drafted as well in the draft this year, and yeah, it should be a good game. Jaden
Higgins
and Jaylen Noel, I think, were the 2 guys that they picked. So, or Noel might have been another team. I'm mixing them up. I'm mixing it up now, buddy. I got Jaylen Schuler and the Bulls on my mind. You're the man, brother. I appreciate you, pal.
Thanks, Jay. Appreciate the support, man.
Thanks, buddy. Go Bucs. As always, our guy Emilio in the house. Nathan Elliott, 27-24. You got that, Benny? You're nuts, Benny. Keep it classy, Benny. All right, so week 1 down of the NFL season. Which teams are done? Like done. I think you can already see teams in the National Football League that are out. Like they're done. And when I say done, that means they have no chance to win the Super Bowl. And I'm going to give you those guys right now. Number 1, the Miami Dolphins. And I'm not just going to say all the teams that lost, and I'm not going to, because I'm going to leave. I'm only going to go with the teams that I think have zero chance to make the playoffs and make any kind of noise. I'm not going to say the Jets because I think they look decent in that first game. So I'm not going to disrespect them there. New England, I know, is a team on the rise with the second-year quarterback and Mike Vrabel. I'm not talking about because I think those teams can show improvement, and the Buffalo Bills are certainly a team that's a Super Bowl contender. But the Miami Dolphins, that dumpster fire there in South Florida, they are done. They are so far away from what a winning football team looks like. I think Mike McDaniel or Brian Daboll, one of those two guys, will be the first coach fired. Those guys are super done. Super duper done. Next team is the Cleveland Browns. They're done. They've got no chance. And it's a mix between the team they have and the division they're in. Like, the Bengals got to keep winning because, inevitably they're going to lose some games. The Steelers beat the Jets, and it's pretty wild to see the Ravens that are 0-1, but we know they have one of the most talented rosters in the National Football League. But if you are the Cleveland Browns, you are done. You are so done. Next team up, and I guess maybe we're going like one team each in the division so far. It's the Tennessee Titans. Listen, I didn't think they looked that bad, but we saw that roster against the Buccaneers, right? There were so many open roster spots going into the regular season for them. You have Cam Ward. They're done, right? They're done. There's no hope for them to make the playoffs, in my opinion. They are big time done. No teams in the AFC West, what I say, are done. Because you look at the Chargers, and a lot of people high on them, especially after their week 1 win Friday night down there in Brazil over the Kansas City Chiefs. More on them in a second. You have Harbaugh, right? You drafted Hampton. Now's the time for Herbert to step up. You got your guy Keenan Allen back. Quentin Johnston stepping up to the table. People were wondering if that first-round pick was ever going to, live up to that lofty draft status. And 2 touchdowns in week 1 look pretty damn good right there, my friend. A lot out there on the waiver wire for a lot of people, too. Law and Order. Dun-dun. You're so right. Greg DeCruz, not a Fins fan, I see. Hate the Fins. My brother always gave me grief because of my love for the Bucs. At least I can rewatch my 2 Super Bowls in color and not black and white. Greg DeCruz with the quote of the day. GDC. It's good stuff right there, my friend. All right. Broncos, I got a lot of faith. Maybe I don't want to say a lot of faith in the Broncos, but they're not going anywhere. I don't look at them and say, "Oh, they're in trouble." No, I think they got a really good shot to compete. We saw it last year making the playoffs, so why can't they do it again? They're in there. Who else is in there? Come on. Just random things popping up on my computer today. You can't come on the show, random things. Raiders with Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, Tom Brady. Yeah, I mean, do I think they're going to make the Super Bowl? No, but listen, why not? I'm not going to count them out yet. And the Chiefs, the only team with a loss in the AFC West, we know what they can bring to the table. The NFC East. Done. The New York Football Giants. You guys are the epitome of trash and rubbish and just an absolute laughing stock for one of the oldest and most venerable franchises in all of sports, a family-owned professional sports franchise. The Maras have been a part of this team for forever. And to see the amount of talent that you have on paper and to see how putrid you are, you're throwing a pass to a freaking offensive lineman on 1st and goal from the 1. Like, it's just bad football. Bad football. And in my opinion, if you're the Giants, like, if they lose in week 2, you got to get rid of Brian Daboll. What more do you need to see? I mean, just do it now. You're going to lose to Dallas, right? Dak's going to tear you up. CeeDee Lamb's going to abuse you. Change it. Change it right away. Why wait? There is talent there. I'm telling you, there's talent. Go with Jackson Dart. It's a new day. Get rid of Daboll. Get rid of Joe Shane. Let Jackson Dart start week 3. Let him and throw Malik Neighbors the ball 19 times. Pin your ears back. Trade Kayvon Thibodeau. Let Carter, Dexter Lawrence, and Brian Burns go to work, and then go from there. Yeah. Can we get you a sound effects board, Jay? No, I'm not a sound effects board guy. No. You're Glenn Cook. Giggity-goo. All right. So, yeah, Giants, done. NFC North. not a lot of people are going to like this. The Fighting John Momolas, the Chicago Bears, done. The Bears are done. I saw a stat today from Caleb Williams having like 40 more overthrows in the last 2 years than any other quarterback in the National Football League. I didn't see Baker like in the top 10 or so that was good. I don't see it with Caleb Williams. And I was of the mindset of wait and see. I didn't judge him on the fingernails or what happened in the stands or anything, because like he made some good plays for his time at Oklahoma, his time at USC. But the more and more I was like, I see like a Johnny Manziel. I do. I see a guy that was running around a lot in college, and then he would make these throws, and it's not realistic. He makes terrible throws. Like I'm talking, he looks like Daniel Jones sometimes, even though Daniel Jones looked good in week 1. Some of those Jameis type throws, but I don't know if either one of those guys look as bad as Caleb Williams. They would have been better off sticking with Justin Fields. They need to run the football, but I mean, as much as we talk about the Detroit Lions with Jared Goff and what he can't do, and we know with the Rams and trading him and bringing in Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay feeling like he could do more with his offense with Stafford than Goff. I mean, Goff did a great job with Ben Johnson. And he may not be the fleetest of foot, but he's damn sure accurate with the football. He's a great leader. He's a pretty damn good decision maker. Remember, in the quarterback position, regardless of what you want to talk about, okay? And I know we're getting farther and farther away from the traditional pocket passer, and every single quarterback has to have some semblance of athleticism. The two biggest things are accuracy and decision making. That's what it comes down to. Accuracy and decision-making. And for me, I don't see that from Caleb Williams. I'm not impressed at all. I think Detroit is going to be a battle all year long. I love Kevin O'Connell. We said that with the Vikings and the Packers. They're a force. They are a force. The NFC South, to me, it's the Saints. It's the New Orleans Saints. The Panthers, very frustrating loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars in week 1. The Falcons, they're going to be, they have some talent. Don't get me wrong. But the Saints are just a dumpster fire. They're another one. Who's your quarterback? They should have went. And like, those are the guys, Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler. And you just would have been better off of like having Jameis there or Russell Wilson there or somebody else or Kellen Moore playing quarterback. I just don't see how that's going to work out. They are done. And then in the NFC West, I don't think I'm ready to say any of those teams are, because Arizona was able to win, and I'm kind of give people the benefit of the doubt. That's the team that I would say. The 2 1-0 teams that I'm not buying are the Arizona Cardinals and the Indianapolis Colts. I'm not buying either one of those teams. Not doing it. I don't think they're going to be very good, and I think the world's going to come crashing down on them. We'll talk about that on Friday. Maybe who's the Thursday night game this week is Washington and Green Bay. 2 1-0 teams. I won't need to say that about them because I think both those teams are pretty good. But on Friday, what we're going to look at the 1-0 teams that I think have the best chance to lose, and the 0-1 team I think has the best chance to win. Because when you look at this in the National Football League, you can't just judge it on one game, right? You can't just look at one game and think you have it all figured out. But as I say that, I think sometimes you do, right? I know our guy Rick Stroud from the Tampa Bay Times has said that a bunch of times where, greatness shows itself early. But I also think ugliness and the lack of greatness shows itself pretty early too. Like, how much more do you need to see from the Giants to think that that's not going to work? Not much more. Not much more. So I look at those teams and I'm like, I think we have a pretty good idea of what's going on. All right. So another thing. All right. Here we go. Just looking at some of that thing I posted on the AP girl. My God, that thing. And USF Bulls, number 18 USF Bulls 69, who follows me, 724. He's posted it. It's got 10.7, now 11.3 million views. Wow. That's pretty badass. Good for you. Mine, I think it was over 1 million. Let's see. 1.1 million. 1.1 million in a short week. Screw a press conference. Press this on your conscience, D-Bog. Cheers. All right. let's take a look real quick about our friends real quick. Honest Hammer Construction. Look at my guys. My guy Russ was super happy, and deservedly so. USF Bull himself. Go follow him on social media, The Honest Hammer, because you want to see some of those videos of him getting all jacked up after the Buccaneers. I mean, after the Bulls win too, but just taking a look at what these guys do at Honest Hammer Custom Builders LLC, 813-244-0956. They take care of you. They are a licensed and insured Florida general contractor, CGC 153-1166. No project too big, no project too small. You look at the freaking kitchen right there. Unbelievable. Custom homes, they're building a new one right there in St. Pete. I was there. Check out my social media at Recher. Legit. Kitchen remodels, bathroom remodels, new and commercial construction, interior and structural renovations. This is a Tampa Bay Sports fan just like you. Look at these are some of the pictures from the new build it up right on the water, man. Unbelievable. 813-244-0956. CGC 153-116. Email thehonesthammer@gmail.com. And again, this is a guy that you can trust. When you're in a situation where you are making these big remodels to your home and you're worried about who you can trust, right? You hear these horror stories about these contractors. They get your money and then they disappear. The Honest Hammer is a guy just like me and you. He's a Tampa Bay Sports fan. He loves to help people out and just a nice guy. We speak a lot of, we mention this a lot on the show about how you speak to other people. And I love that when I was on the job site, the way he was speaking to his workers, he wasn't speaking down to them. He was a guy that, you know, he worked with them. They didn't work for him. They worked with him. And look at Evolve Official. I need some work done soon. Looking out in a backsplash for the wifey. I'll check him out, Jay. Evolve, do me a favor. Give him a call today. Give him a call. Just say, hey, you may not need him right now, but just give him a call just so he has your number. 813-244-0956. Give him a call today. Just say, hey, just wanted to introduce myself. I'll get back with you soon. I heard you on the Jay Recher podcast. He said that you do good work. Give him a shout today. Because that's why we're here, man. He sponsors our show, showing us some love. We want to show him some love as well. A few years ago, there used to be player shows and some of the, we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, again, 813-244-0956. We love our friends over at Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC. Give him a shout, Evolve, 813-244-0956. A few years ago, there used to be player shows at some of the sports bars. These still exist. I don't know, brother. I do not know. I am not involved with any of those player shows. I know that my guy Randy Harris from Knockout Radio used to do something at the sports bar on Dale Mabry. Why can't I think of the name? I was there. I've been there. It's where Jason Light goes. You guys know what I'm talking about. Holy smack. Thank you, Evolve. You're the best. What's the name of the sports bar? Oh my God. I'm like, you could take my Tampa card right now. What's the name of the sports bar that Jason Light goes to? Right there. It's on Kennedy and just south of Kennedy on Dale Mabry. Anybody? Guys, come on. Don't make me look it up. I feel so bad. No, not Riveters. Greg's going to that strip club over there. No, not Riveters. Not Riveters. The famous one. The one that's been around. Not Walk-Ons. Guys are killing me. Come on. The press box. Come on, guys. Nobody even said it. Shells. You guys suck. You guys suck. All of you. Greg, David, Benny, Dolan. I love you all so much, but you stink. The press box. The press box. The press box. You've been there. Come on, guys. All right. So let me ask you this question. So I'm thinking about Baker Mayfield, right? And I'm thinking about Baker and where he stands. And it's such a unique thing when it comes to the Buccaneers because of their history. They had the list for the top 50 players of all time. And we went through a lot of them. And I'm going to try to get Tony Mayberry on with us this week. Maurice Tucker, thank you. You were all over it. But I'm thinking about Baker and where he ranks all time. Because I think it's, you can say a lot about Tom Brady and his contributions, right? You can say a lot about Doug Williams and what he was able to do. You can say a lot about a guy like Brad Johnson, who quarterbacked this team to their first ever Super Bowl championship. And listen, whether you like him or not, one of the names at the top of the freaking leader, top of the record books for the Bucs is Jameis Winston. I mean, he had some great numbers. And, of course, Vinny Testaverde and Steve DeBerg, and there's a lot of guys there. So where does Baker Mayfield fit into that? Where does Baker Mayfield fit into the lore of quarterbacks for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And when I say that, I don't want to say that he's the best. I don't want to say anything about like the most, the winningest quarterback, because maybe one day he might be both. But as of right now, is Baker Mayfield the most beloved quarterback in Buccaneers history? I want to ask you guys that. What do you think? Questions, comments, concerns, leave them there at the bottom. And of course, here's the link for all of our big Bucs fans. It's right there in the chat, StreamYard.com/H4WIAMTCEQ. Is Baker Mayfield the most beloved quarterback in Tampa Bay Buccaneers history already? And again, not saying that he's the best, not saying that he has the best numbers, even though one day he might end up that way. But when you watch him play and you listen to him talk, and he was a member of the show that the Buccaneers have on Mondays, and you heard it on WDAE as well. I mean, for him to be on there with our friend Casey Phillips and right after that week 1 victory, and to be able to hear Baker and speak glowingly of a guy like Emeka Egbuka, great to be able to, get a little peek behind the curtain on what Baker was thinking after week 1. But you just look at Baker Mayfield and how he has assimilated himself to the Tampa Bay area, not just the Buccaneers, but to the Tampa Bay community as a whole. I mean, he's going to Rays games. He's going to Lightning games. He's out there in public. He brought, him and his wife's foundation here, and just he's really embraced what being a Tampanian is all about. So I just wonder. And again, you could say that Carl Crawford is the best Rays player of all time. But I don't know if anybody was more beloved than Randy Arozarena. You see what I'm saying? Makes sense. We go there. There's other players that were better on the Tampa Bay Lightning than Pat Maroon, but he was one of the most beloved. So I wonder about Baker Mayfield, where he fits in as far as most beloved quarterback in this town. Again, questions, comments, concerns, put them there at the bottom. Greg DeCruz says, no, it was Doug Williams for me. I think Baker needs to take this team on a deep playoff run. Fair. Because I think Doug Williams is up there for a lot of people that have been a Bucs fan for many, many years, for decades. And it's not just about the success. And it's not just about the, him going to the games and being out in public and partying. There's a relatability to Baker Mayfield. He is a guy that just seems like the common man. But also when he's on the field, he plays like his hair is on fire. He is a guy that's willing to run through a brick wall for the success of his team. Dolan, Baker Mayfield loved by this whole town, but number 1 is Brady, number 2 is Brad Johnson, 3 is Doug Williams, and 4 is Baker. Now, I'm not ranking them on how good they were, Dolan. Are you saying beloved? And that's why I really want to harp on the difference, because you could say that some of these other guys had better overall careers. They had better stats with the Buccaneers, but I'm just talking about beloved. Again, Pat Maroon wasn't here for as long as a guy like Eric Chernak or a guy like Andre Palat or a guy like Alex Killorn. Even though they love guys like that, would you say that those guys are more beloved than Big Rig? I don't think I would say that. There's just something about relatability. There's something about being a fan favorite. There's just something about feeling like that's your guy. Who's the top 3 most beloved quarterbacks in Tampa Bay Buccaneers history? I would go Baker, then probably Doug Williams, and then maybe Brady. It's a tough one, right? Because beloved, it doesn't matter. Like, if somebody says to me, hey, my most beloved quarterbacks of all time for the Buccaneers were Baker, Doug, and Brad Johnson, that wouldn't be wrong for me. If you're, let's say you're a Knowles fan, right? And you're like, all right, well, I loved Brad with the Seminoles. I love the videos that he does now. I love that he was our first quarterback and he was like an everyman and he was just that guy that, just did whatever it took to win. I wouldn't say that that's wrong. Doug Williams won a Super Bowl in Washington. I say he's far more beloved there. Okay, but again, it's not a direct correlation to success. Brady changed the mindset of the team for years to come. The 10 years prior were a dark age for me as a Bucs fan. And that's the thing, Lady Evil. I'm not saying more influential. I'm not saying a better winner or a better quarterback or more skilled or more talented. I'm talking about more beloved, a bigger fan favorite. I would argue that Baker Mayfield's a bigger fan favorite than Tom Brady. Now, do you bring in the casual fan? Do you bring in people, more eyeballs, more attraction because it's the GOAT? Of course. But really, like, was Tom Brady one of us? Was Tom Brady ever one of us like Baker is? I mean, and there's contributing factors to that too, right? Because we look at the NFL season and during COVID and no preseason, and like that's part of it. That's part of it. Baker is a beast on the field. Benny says Tom, Baker, Brad, and Dougie. Why isn't this showing? All right. Casey Weldon, Brad Johnson. Okay. David Terry, his three, Baker, Brad, and Doug. There you go. This is why you guys are the best. SRQ Tom, my man. You're 100% right, my brother. 100% right. That is what I'm talking about. Most beloved. If you tell me that your most beloved quarterbacks for the Bucs are Baker Mayfield, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Brad Johnson or Doug Williams, you're not wrong. Are those the top three? Probably not. But beloved, fan favorites. Tom, thank you, brother. This is why we're interactive on the show. That is a great answer. Great answer. Benny, you're messing with me now, buddy. Ain't nobody putting Mike Clemens on that list. Ain't nobody putting Josh Freeman on that list. You may put Jameis. And again, Jameis has always been great to me. No doubt about it. Evolve just called Russ, super cool guy. He's going to send me the link to set up a day to get a quote on a few things we want to upgrade. My man, you are the best, Evolve. Thank you so much. Again, kitchen, bathroom, commercial, residential, 813-244-0956. Give him a shout. Tell him that you heard it right here on the Recher podcast. That makes my day, buddy. Makes my day. Lady Evil, agreeing. It's probably Baker. Tom Brady is God. Greg DeCruz, I think it depends on how long you've been following the team. I was a huge Eric Rhett fan because that's the RB I watched the most growing up. Right. Who is the best offensive player in Bucs history? Mike Evans. Who is the most beloved offensive player in Bucs history? That's a different question. Who's the most beloved Buccaneers offensive player in history? Who you got? You say Mike? Fine. You say Baker? Fine. You could even say Bucky Irving's on his way, right? Chanting Bucky, Bucky, Bucky. But let's not forget, the most beloved Buccaneers offensive player, in my opinion, is Mike Allstott. Mike Allstott was a monster. Can we get Jameis to be an ambassador like Baker is for the Bolts? He's still on the Giants. Can't do that yet. Offensive player in history is 100%. Mike Evans soon will be Tristan Wirfs. Allstott, right? See, that's the thing. It's definitely not Dan Orlovsky. Hell no. Evolve. Mike is my guy, right? But that's the thing. I don't think there's any discussion that Mike Evans is the best offensive player in Buccaneers history. But the most beloved? The biggest fan favorite? I think he's up there. I don't think he's anything worse than top three. But Mike Allstott's on that list. Mike Allstott was just a different guy. He was a different dude. And the way that he was able to bring people out of their seats, like it's amazing. It's amazing. That's a great conversation to have. Who is the best? Who is the most beloved offensive player in Buccaneers history? I love it, man. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. We'll save that. We're gonna clip that whole segment right there. and put it out there for the interwebs and see everybody argue. I love a good, healthy conversation with things like that. Evan Closky from 10 Tampa Bay is going to join us, and we'll ask him who he thinks is the most beloved player in Tampa Bay Buccaneers history on the offensive side of the ball. You can talk about the defensive side of the ball too. Greg DeCruz says, Ian Beckles, you are not wrong, buddy. He is my favorite player in Buccaneers history. All right, we'll start with the good stuff because he's joining us on the program right now. Everything Tampa Bay Sports with Evan Closky. We're capitalizing everything Tampa Bay and sports because it is that important. E. Klossky, my man, who is the most beloved player in Tampa Bay Buccaneers history on the offensive side of the football? Not the best, the most beloved.
Most beloved? Wow. I think that Mike Allstott would be one, and then Evans a very, very close second. But I mean, when Mike Allstott was, the nation loved Mike Allstott, still does. I mean, randomly you're going to see a melt of his runs like every other weekend because it aggregates so well.
What about I said the most beloved quarterback, because we looked at a bunch of different guys, and some people will just say, oh, it's Tom Brady. And I go, Tom Brady may have been, he's in the argument for the best because he's the greatest of all time and he won a Super Bowl. But like, I think beloved, I think more Baker. I think more Ryan Fitzpatrick, right? I think of, Doug Williams. I think of guys like that.
I don't think Tom was in that category of beloved. I think respected, certainly endeared. He's gonna, we'll all have our moment here in Tampa Bay celebrating Tom Brady and his tenure with the Buccaneers. But there's something about Baker that connects with most people, to be honest, most football fans. But certainly with the folks here in Tampa Bay, from the minute that he called the Vikings cornerback a little boy, or get your weight up, little boy.
Get your weight up.
I think that I think for the most part Baker is in that beloved category, and that's no shade to Tom. He did things a little bit differently, and believe me, everybody here was very thankful that that he spent the few years here and we could experience that. But yeah, Baker's just super fun to root for, and he certainly has earned a soft spot into the hearts of many Buccaneers fans.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you can't be number one in every list, Tom. Jeez, back off, would you? Evan Closky, 10 Tampa Bay, joining us here on the program. I wanted to get your opinion because, I sent out that video about that AP voter and how she answered the entire thing. And, still people don't watch my video or put it, and they're like, oh, well, it's just a difference of opinion. I'm not trying to bash her for a difference of opinion, but she was just the fact that, and this as well as I do, like, we have colleagues that take this so serious. Like it's painstaking for some of them because they want to get it right. They want to make sure that they're putting the right people in the right spot. They'll call people, they'll watch videos, and to be just so flippant about it, like it's not that big of a deal. Like I think it's harmful to the profession as a whole. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. And you said it right. Like I have a couple of friends who have done the AP poll for basketball, and you're juggling your own personal job. You're trying to keep track of all the games that are happening. You're filling out your list. And once in a blue moon, you just like skip over a team, and it happens, and you submit the ballot, and people get on your ass, and you're like, oh man. And like, I just watching them go through it, and like the apology tour they went on, being like, look, I screwed it up. I'm sorry. Right. Next week, I'll certainly, rectify that error, and I own it, and all these things. And yeah, like it, tears them up. But that's my whole thing, is like, mistakes are going to happen. If she just went out there and said, hey, I was juggling a bunch of things. I thought I saw that Florida won. They didn't. That's my bad. I screwed that up. I got to be better. Done and done. Like, I would tell everybody, just back off. Like, mistakes happen. But that's not the response that it was. No. It was, hey, look, in the AP poll, look, the aggregate's going to win, and people are going to cover up for other people. Like, yeah, I can say that as someone who's not voting in the AP. You are a voter. You can't say, oh, people are going to have my ass when I screw up. No, that's not how this works. Like, you got to be culpable for your mistake, and it's okay to make a mistake. Just own it. And it was just apathy. It was like, oh, whatever. In the end, this all doesn't matter. So who cares, right? Like, so it's like, why are you doing this? Like, why? What are you doing this for? And that was my issue with the response. It's not about the mistake. It's about how you just don't give a crap about the privilege and the honor to do this. And it does matter to so many fan bases out there. And maybe somebody who covers USC doesn't really understand that because of their history and how they've been ranked a million times in their lives. But look, covering USF, I covered UTSA in the past when they got ranked. That was a huge deal. I covered Washington State during the Leach times when they would get ranked.
Nice.
That was a big deal. Like, these things matter to those communities, and the poll matters in a whole litany of other things. And for you to just say, well, whatever, that was I thought that was a dereliction of duty, and that was sad to see in that response of someone kind of running away from the culpability and just saying whatever about it. That sucked more than a mistake.
I'm a big fan of the usage of the words dereliction of duty. I haven't heard that in a while. Who wins a basketball tournament, like a 2-on-2 basketball tournament between you and our guy David Shealy, Kyle and Kevin?
I mean,
who else is in there? Scott Smith and Sean Barry, Pat Heron.
I mean, here's the thing about
T. Kraz and Chris Mathis. We got
oh my god! There's the problem is, like, here, if we break it all down, like, if it's
Kenny and Eileen,
me and David, like, I can throw David in the post there against the ABC guys. But if we're talking about the Fox guys now they're working on a strong front court. So I gotta David and I got to start playing like guards against Scott and Sean. So that's a bit of a problem. And then when we go down to FLA, it's a little bit of a different game there, playing in the low post. But yeah, I'm pretty confident in our skill set. I'm a dog out there. I'm guys. I'm gonna look. I'm 5'8", but I'm gonna lead. I'm gonna lead in the rebound department. So nobody understands what I do to work hard for those boards. But I would give David and I a pretty good shot.
So would I, buddy. So would I. Evan Closky fired up as always for the Rays media game a couple of years ago. I wonder if they'll ever bring that back.
Give us a Steinbrenner. I might actually hit a home run oppo now with that short porch.
It'd be so friggin' hot out there. Well, to be fair, they don't turn the AC on for the media game, so it would probably be pretty cool at that time. What do you make of the whole USF thing, man? I mean, outside of the ranking stuff, but just what you've seen so far through 2 weeks, beating Boise State at home, then going on the road, beating the Gators in Gainesville. What do you make of those two victories, and what kind of chances do you give them this weekend there in Miami against the Canes?
Man, it's fantastic. I think the biggest takeaway for USF is a proof of product that Golish is building something. And, the last couple of years, it's been pretty much the exact same thing, right? I mean, record-wise, end result-wise, winning a bowl game. But when you watched the team last year, you saw them kind of compete in halves and then crumble in the second half, which is why Golish has been preaching fourth quarter. And to see them finish games, honestly, the Florida game was less fluky of a win than the Boise game. Like, Boise State, they had the punt touchdown. Boise State had a handful of fourth down conversions they didn't get and a few turnovers. Like, you can maybe write off if you're like, from a wide angle view of it, saying like, oh, well, things just broke their way in this game. Then they come back against Florida, and it's not like they got truck sticked in that contest. No. Like, all the stats, everything was pretty lined up, and they were more disciplined and showed more composure. So my point being is that this isn't like a fluky sort of deal, if anybody wanted to make that argument. What you do worry about going against Miami is, this is now playing Boise State, Florida, and Miami back-to-back weeks. Like, will the wear and tear get to them at some point in this game, where Miami is built in the trenches, unlike the previous two opponents, and Boise and Florida have pretty good trenches of their own. So I really am curious to see if USF can hang around 4 quarters against a team like Miami. Last year, they were down a touchdown, within a touchdown at halftime, and then sort of got, just truck sticked in the second half. Yeah, I'm thinking they're going to have a better performance this time, but that's certainly what I'm watching in this game. Can they hang for 4 quarters with the wear and tear on their bodies from the previous 2 games of letting it all out there? But even if they lose to Miami, look, Golish isn't going to take the moral victories and all this stuff, but they've done what they've had to do. And this is the benefit of having the schedule as tough as they've had from the beginning. They can lose that game in Miami. They can even lose a road game in the conference because they play 3 really tough ones in the American. If they lose 2 games, go out and win the conference, like they're going to be in the college football playoffs.
Wow,
so
man.
that is what they've set themselves up for. And it's a marathon, not a sprint. So I think if they beat Miami, they all of a sudden turn into like the number 1 national story in the country. But if they don't, it's okay, USF fans. Like you're gonna return to Recher, you're gonna play an FCS opponent, you're gonna get a bye, and then you get Charlotte, which is a game they should win on paper fairly easily. And then you start building towards the really tough part of your American conference. You're going to have kind of 3 weeks to recoup and build yourself back up for the long haul here. And just cannot applaud this team, the players, the coaching staff enough. It's just been really, really fun to watch.
Weekend started off really good with a win on Saturday with the Bulls, and then on Sunday with the Buccaneers over the Falcons. And Emeka Egbuka, fantastic with a couple of touchdowns there. And the Buccaneers changing their offensive line before the game, kind of surprising everybody. Jason Light lets everybody know on the radio broadcast. And I get some people out there that are like, oh, well, it shouldn't have been that close. And I look at week 1 wins as just get it in the winning ledger. Get it on the left side. It's going to be ugly. What did you make of that win, and what were some of the big things that stood out to you about it?
I don't know why people are saying it shouldn't have been that close. I mean, the Buccaneers were 1.5, 2-point favorites.
Yeah.
I mean, the game, they won by 3. It was pretty much as predicted, right?
Yeah.
And to be honest, this is what I always say: wins in the NFL are hard. Wins in a division are harder. Wins on the road in the division are the hardest.
Right.
And so the fact that you get a win in Atlanta playing a C performance, let's be honest, it was a C performance. Baker Mayfield had some seeds in that game, but it wasn't his best. And defensively speaking, I thought they actually played fairly well outside of that first play or that third play to Bijan Robinson. And then they kind of, I think, fatigue set in at the end of that contest. Right. But for the most part, and I agree with Baker after the game, like these were games that they did not win last year. No doubt. They found a way to win. And that's all that matters right now in week 1 with a team that barely played in the preseason. Their quarterback didn't play at all in the preseason. To go into Atlanta, a team you lost to twice last year, get a W, and already kind of assert your dominance on the NFC South. You're up on everybody by a game already, and you have 1 win in the NFC South. You'll face the Falcons later this season. It's a long way to go, but they got the job done. Is there a lot to improve upon? Absolutely. They don't have Wirfs. They don't have Godwin. They didn't have Izzian. They didn't have Morrison. A lot of things were rusty and clunky, and the first couple of offensive drives were 3 and out, and Josh Grizzard's in his first game as OC. We can keep going through it. Like the tape wasn't very pretty. Right. It wasn't super ugly either, but to go in there on the road and get a dub, like, we don't apologize for wins. You get a win in the NFL, that is great. We move on to next week. Better to learn from wins than losses. You
think they keep the same offensive line for week 2 against the Texans?
I would imagine they do. If you were gonna pull this ripcord entering week 1, I don't see why you would switch it up. Week 2, might as well keep it going. And I thought Barton did pretty well out there at left tackle. I thought Bredesen did pretty solid. I thought the O-line in general, pass pro wise, was really darn good. I think the rushing game, I know they ran for north of 100 yards, and we'll talk about that, but that was really more Baker than Bucky. Bucky 14 of 37. Like, the running game didn't look great in the preseason, and it still is not looking fantastic to start, but hopefully when Tristan comes back, they'll be able to do some of the things they want to do, and so on and so forth, and things will improve. But yeah, I think you have to run that back with that offensive line.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I was concerned going into the season, regardless, is being able to run the football. This team just doesn't naturally run the football well. It took them a couple of years to be able to do that, and Liam Cohn was able to do his thing, and he did it with a pretty steady offensive line and, a rookie running back in Bucky Irvin that really burst onto the scene. But you also saw some success from Rashad White and Sean Tucker as well. I I still need to see more from Josh Grizzard. I still need to see more that, and everybody says, well, he was part of the passing game. Well, that's great. Well, I want to see this team run the football. I mean, you can't do it without Tristan Wirfs. I mean, this is one of those things where I think you got to have to run the football, especially on the road against the Houston Texans defense that is going to try to pin their ears back and get to Baker Mayfield with Danielle Hunter on one side and Will Anderson on the other.
Yeah, third down conversions were still good for Josh Grizzard, 7 of 14.
Yep.
So you like that? 50%. We'll take that throughout the entire year. But yeah, I think when you look at this Houston matchup, like, I think I saw the over-under was 42.5, and this smells like an under. I mean, what's crazy is if you look at the Texans offense from week 1 and the Buccaneers offense from week 1, the stats are eerily similar. They had almost the same exact total yards, almost the same exact rushing yards, passing yards, all this stuff. The difference was the Texans were way more undisciplined, lots of penalties, a couple of turnovers. And I think that's going to be the key in a game like this is you're going to have to force turnovers, have, a great punt return, whatever it might be, to get yourself field position against a tremendous defense like the Texans, who are really impressive on that side of the ball. But offensively speaking, they also have their issues. And I would argue the Texans' offensive issues are worse than what the Buccaneers are just dealing with shuffling the O-line and having some natural rust. So I think, I am very curious how the Buccaneers offense and Josh Grizzard is going to go up against this defense, especially because DeMeco Ryans is such a good coach. And his first halves against teams, when he game plans, traditionally win out versus whatever the offensive coordinator has done against him. So it's going to be a really tough test for Josh Grizzard in the second game call plays.
You've seen a lot of C.J. Stroud being an Ohio State fan as well. What do you make of his progress or lack thereof? When a guy has a lot of success in year 1, you're just waiting for that sophomore slump. And there was a little bit of a regression last year. I don't know if you could put that all on him because of the offensive line, but I mean, Joe Burrow has a terrible offensive line, and he still puts up tremendous numbers too. I watched a good chunk of that game last weekend against LA, and I don't know where I'm at with CJ Stroud, because I think after year 1, you're like, okay, where is he going to fit into the hierarchy of the quarterbacks and just to the AFC, because 4 great ones right there. I just don't know where we're at. I don't know where is he 7? Is he 10? Is he 14? Like, what do you see from C.J. Stroud? What part of his game could give the Buccaneers trouble on Monday night?
Yeah, he's probably like league average, maybe a little bit below league. Like if you have, I have Baker like slightly ahead of C.J. Stroud probably, but I'm certainly this is a big year for C.J. because you got to weigh what you saw in year 1 versus year 2, and then you got to decide, okay, year 3.
That's got to be a disappointment though, right? I mean, if you're
swing.
a Houston fan, you went from Deshaun Watson, who was fantastic, and you're like, C.J. Stroud, he's got to be a top 10 quarterback, and I'm just like, I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. They changed offensive coordinators. So last year, I think a lot of the problems were they had an OC who had his bag of tricks year 1, didn't know how, had one set of rules and things, and people looked at him over the offseason, figured him out, and he didn't know how to adjust out of it. That's the difference between good and great offensive minds, right? Like, look, you're seeing it right now with Mike McDaniel. Miami started out like gangbusters. You start doing things that you like, and then eventually the league figures out what you want to do, and then you got to evolve like Andy Reid and figure out new ways to be successful. Some coaches are able to do that, others are not. And so I think you're seeing a little bit of that in Houston. They obviously have a new offensive coordinator this time around, so you would hope there's some development there. I think another part of the problem is the Texans have not built up that offensive line at all.
Right.
There's only so much you can do when I would argue that Houston has a bottom 5 offensive line in the league.
They traded away Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah, and it's closer to last than it is to the fifth spot on that list. So I think that weighs heavily on CJ. I think he does a great job managing games. I think he is going to have he's going to avoid some sacks. He's super smart, accurate, all these things. But at some point, you're capped by what's around you. Right. And that's whether the play calls or the offensive line. Certainly last week, they got backed up into penalties, which really limited their playbook. So I'm interested to see how he evolves this year. But, last week was a tough gauge for me with the Texans just because they constantly played behind the sticks. And as we know, if you do that, your playbook just starts looking like this and this and this. It gets smaller and smaller, and then you just try to get into third and manageable, and then you're living in third and longs, and you're just, I don't know. It's such a tough way to be successful at the NFL level. So Texans looked very rusty week one. So more, are they going to lock back in Monday Night Football, returning home, amped up environment? That's what I'm interested to see from the offensive side of things. And the jury is still very much out on CJ as we go forward in this year.
Kloss, let's talk some Rays, man. They win last night against the Chicago White Sox. Are you out? Are you in? They got a shot. What do you think? I've been down on the Rays for 6 weeks. Even when they went on that little winning, I'm like, "Wow, this is great," but I got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, look, I kind of marked the end of it when Griffin Jacks gave up that homer to Cal Raleigh in Seattle. That was sort of like the decisive blow. I give them a lot of credit for fighting. I mean, they had, they got up to 2.5 games there. They certainly have not quit. A lot of teams, they could have just packed it in and said, "Screw it," right? So, off season's coming. We'll just figure it out. But they're fighting, and I give that credit. A lot of people have their complaints about Kevin Cash, and there are certainly some organizational things I believe they need to look at in the offseason. But Kevin Cash's teams do not quit, so that much we can say with a certainty. But yeah, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. They need a Herculean run here, and
they need Evan Closky in the lineup.
They need Evan Longoria. They need the 2011 squad and that juju to come back to spark them into some sort of run here. Because realistically, the Mariners the Mariners are going to have 3 games against the Rockies at some point down the stretch here. Yeah. So they're going to at least win 2 of those, which means that you're down 4.5, which means you realistically have to go in the final 18 here. 13-5 at minimum to even have a shot. And that also means that the Mariners have to go a little bit less than 500. So even to give yourself more of a buffer, you got to go 14-4, 15-3. And so that's a hell of a run to go on, especially when you're going to have to face the Orioles, the Blue Jays, the Red Sox. These are teams that traditionally, I would say actually traditionally the Rays had to do a good job against the Red Sox. This year has been weird, but teams that you're not going to really sweep. Certainly the Orioles, a team they always struggle against. So, I mean, they're looking like they're probably going to finish around the same record as last year. Probably what we thought entering the year they would be. And this year just provided a lot more volatility than last year. Last year, they couldn't do anything, whether that was lose a bunch of games in a row or win a bunch of games in a row. It was just constantly at 500, one step forward, one step back. This year was just different varieties of 5 steps forward, 5 steps back, then 5 steps forward. It was you just went through the roller coaster a lot more this year. But long-term picture, I don't actually think they're as far off as it might seem. It is a big offseason in terms of certain tinkerings they're going to have to do.
Yeah, I just wonder what their ceiling is, right? I mean, pitching and defense has been kind of their calling card, but I've been unimpressed. I've been unimpressed with the pitching this year as a whole. This is something that it should be locked down, whether it's the guys out of the bullpen. Fairbanks is weird ass year. I mean, just look at Shane Boz, moving on from Taj Bradley. It's just I know it's not like they had terrible seasons, but you look at it and it's just if you're telling me pitching and defense is your calling card, it's got to be better than what we saw this year.
Yeah, and I do want to put an asterisk on that because entering the season, we did certainly speaking with, we've heard this from Neander and the public and whatnot. Playing at Steinbrenner is not a pitching and defense ballpark. Just the way that this team was built doesn't work in Steinbrenner because when you're in Tropicana Field, you have way more outfield space. Defense is more important out there. And to be honest, I think they kind of really didn't focus as much on defense this year because they were playing in Steinbrenner. I think they're going to double down on that next year and say, hey, we got to get back to better defense, certainly in center field, playing in Tropicana Field. I think playing in Tropicana Field is also going to make your pitchers look a lot better. a guy, Ryan Pepio is a fly ball guy. Fly ball pitchers in Steinbrenner are not good. Fly ball pitchers in Tropicana Field are. Griffin Jacks gave up a couple of unicorn home runs in
Right.
Steinbrenner. I think he's going to look better in Tropicana Field. Boz, his home road splits are egregious this year. He's going to look better in Tropicana Field, and he just has to make sure that he has a full control over that third pitch, which has been up and down for him this season. But when he has a third pitch, you see the greatness. When he doesn't, it's bad. I think Shane is more of a positive regression candidate next year. Certainly Drew, a fully healthy year. He's a stud. Just got, he has to stay healthy. And Joe Boyle hit a wall, and I don't know what he's going to be next year. I mean, he was awesome, and then it just seems like it all crumbled. And maybe that was just the length of the year. You got to remember he pitched a bunch in AAA, but they gotta figure him out because he just went right back to his old habits. So I'm still bullish on the Rays pitching staff entering next year, and I don't worry so much about the numbers this year, but they don't have a true ace. And Shane, we thought was going to be that guy this year, and it's looking more and more like if Shane comes back, great, but we can't rely on him based with his injuries. So that's the concern for me. You have a bunch of 2s and 3s and sprinkle a little 4 in there. You have great pitchers, but you need a horse at the top, especially if you want to do big things in the playoffs. And they don't really have that 1A type of guy that the Rays have typically had in the past, to be honest, whether that's Glasnow or Snell, even like Archer in his prime,
Shields, Price,
McClanahan, exactly. So they need that 1A guy, and I don't know if they necessarily have that right now. And they have a couple of options in the minors, but they won't emerge as a 1A type for at least another few years.
Ed, before I let you go, give me your thoughts on Rob Higgins being named the CEO of athletics for the University of South Florida.
Yeah, good luck finding a bad thing about Rob Higgins in this town.
I was looking through social media. I didn't see one person think it was
good.
A bad idea.
Good luck having one person. And I think that truly speaks to the character of Rob Higgins.
He's the best.
That no matter who has come in contact with him, celebrities in our area, the Derek Brookses, the Rondé Barbers, or whether it's, me or you in the media, whether it's fans that, have been able to interact with him during his time with the Tampa Bay Sports Commission. He is a good freaking dude. Forget about his business acumen. Forget about how good he is at his job. He's a good dude. And the fact is, you can't fake that. And I think that is going to provide him tremendous success moving forward in this position. He knows how to fundraise. He knows how to talk with bigwigs, right? He was on the Super Bowl committees. He's shook the hands of many important figures. He knows how to play that game, especially getting USF to a Power 4 conference, which is going to be one of his biggest goals, I'm sure, as CEO of athletics.
He knows. He knows the deal. He knows what he needs to do.
Yeah, exactly. And certainly with NIL and managing that, just the way that collegiate athletics works now, it's not just about hiring coaches and honestly,
Right.
you can farm out that job to different spots and agencies that will look at coaches for you and give you a whole slew of candidates, and you can choose from that. But I really think that as USF grows into this next phase, its next era, where they have invested a ton in athletics again. Certainly, I think UCF getting called up to the Big 12 over them was the smack in the face they needed. I think they realized a lot of things when that happened of what the hell are we doing? And all the words that they have said have led to action, and everything's been actionable up to this point, and it's all leading to a crescendo of getting to become a Power 4 team. And I think they're well positioned to do that. And Rob is the perfect guy to do that. And most importantly, Rob gets Tampa Bay. Having a guy who is the leader of the landmark university here in Tampa to understand the area. You're not outsourcing it. This guy lives it. He breathes it. He knows it. That means a lot. And I just think it's going to be great. And I cannot wait for September 22nd to come around for him to get put into that position and, shake his hand and No, I sent him a congratulations, text yesterday, and more than anything that has to do with
Nice.
professionally, just personally,
How
like just
many
such a
people?
good dude.
How many people texted that guy? I was thinking about
I
that
know
too
it's
when I
fun.
texted him
That's
last
why I
night.
texted
Like,
as he got back to me late, and I was like, I can only imagine how many. I can only imagine how many texts you're fielding. It's like a happy birthday on steroids, right? But yeah, just again, let me add to the cacophony of noise of just
mhm,
people that are all in favor of this, and just super super happy for him, and super excited for USF fans.
right.
They got a real leader who is going to do things the right way.
No doubt about it. And you know what? Evan Closky always does things the right way. Closky WTSP on Twitter/X for our friends over there at 10 Tampa Bay. My money is on him and David Chile on the 2-on-2 basketball tournament that likely will never happen. But if it does, we're going to call it the Recher Classic.
Hey,
And I'm going
do
to
it.
run the entire thing and we'll go from there.
Let's do it. I'm ready for it.
See how he moved his hat? He moved his
I'm
hat.
ready to
He's
lace
ready.
him up. I'm telling you,
He's ready to
I'm a
lace him
baseball
up.
player at heart, but I know how to play some basketball too. So let's make it happen.
I hear David Chile right now shooting free throws, getting ready for the big
David
12:30.
Chile's doing the high knees.
He's at the high knees. He's doing his best. He's doing the Trey Young. You know him, his big Hawks fan that he is. He's doing the Trey Young. I've always appreciate your time, my brother. Have a great rest of your week. We'll talk soon.
Appreciate you as always.
All right, pal. The great Evan Closky, 10 Tampa Bay. It's great stuff, man. That'll be so much fun. How much fun would that be? All right, so we're gonna finish the show talking about Rob Higgins. He just texted me. I'm so fired up. And I texted him yesterday, congratulations. And he texted me at 11 o'clock. 8 hours later, he said he's going to come on the show when things slow down a little bit. And then I said, you got it. I said, the whole city's behind you. We'll talk soon. And he texted me back again today. He goes, Jay, I'm so fired up. We're going to roll up our sleeves and take things to an all new level. Go Bulls. Appreciate you. And there's a lot of things that Rob Higgins is proud of being here in the Tampa Bay area, bringing WrestleManias and Royal Rumbles and Super Bowls and outdoor hockey games, right? But there was just something about him being proud of being a USF Bull. You heard it every single year at the sneaker soiree. There's just something different about USF for Rob. And again, we talk a lot about good people. God, and you heard Evan Closky just say it right there. Good freaking people. Good things happening to good people. Now, the only a little bit of surprise is I thought maybe USF would try to look a little bit further outside, maybe somebody with a little bit more of a kind of a national, they've been around a lot. But I mean, how could you say somebody's more nationally known than a guy like Rob Higgins because of what he's had to do? So I guess, this is kind of the perfect marriage because you wanted a guy with USF ties. You wanted a guy that knew what Tampa is all about, the city, but you also want a guy with connections. You want a guy that's been in those meetings and been in those boardrooms with people trying to sell our area and to raise money and to bring events here. He's done that. He's traveled across the globe to do that. And it's the perfect hire. And I was talking with a member of the USF social media crew today, and she goes, "What is this?" And I go, we are now officially entering the USF era. They're not going to be left behind when it comes to conference realignment. And for all the talk about where is Alex Golesh going to go, I mean, to be fair, if he does end up going and taking one of these bigger jobs, like there's nothing you can really do about it. But if you're a person in Alex Golesh's position with his wife and his kids, and knowing that you can be here when you're entering into a legit new era of college athletics where you're going to be on the precipice of greatness and money coming in and a school that's supportive and is behind you. Like, we want stability, right? You want stability, you want opportunities, right? So if you're Alex Golesh, you look at Jose Fernandez, you look at Ken Erickson, you look at Coach McCord. And for the first two, you're like, stability. Coach Ken and Coach Jose have been here forever. You can live in a beautiful place with your family, and you're always going to get love and support. People aren't going to mess with you. Then you look at Coach McCord, you look at Coach Jenkins, you look at Coach Hanna, some of these coaches that are just new these last couple of years. Coach Jenkins has been there a while, longer than those two, but it's just the innovation, the belief in NIL, the belief in having social media teams put your content out there. Like, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. We saw that with Willie Taggart. And I think Alex Golesh looks at this whole thing and he says, hey, if I'm going to get all these things that I'm asking for, and we're winning, we're getting a stadium, we have an indoor practice facility, conference realignment is going to happen before you know it. If you're in the ACC, why leave? If you're in the Big 10, why leave? When you're in the Big 12, why leave? Because USF has something that like a team like UCF doesn't have, and that's a solid fan base and a foundation of professional sports teams and an infrastructure of fan bases that are going to support it. And it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, these games, if USF keeps winning, you're going to see some real great attendances, big numbers that you haven't seen since back in the glory days of USF football. We keep bringing that up, the glory days of USF football. We're in the glory days of USF athletics right now. And we have the right guy at the helm, and Rob Higgins. You think Alex Golesh doesn't like this hire? All the coaches love this hire. There's no way that they couldn't. He's the man. He's one of the best people I've ever met. And like I told you yesterday, Rob Higgins came up to me at the sneaker soiree and said, I love you because you love Team Tampa Bay. You got that right, buddy. And I'll support you to my dying breath. Rob Higgins is the man and the perfect guy to lead USF Athletics as the CEO moving forward. Just the fact that he's the CEO just shows that USF understands that it's evolving and it's changing. And we can't just be like, oh, he's the, vice president of athletics or the athletic director. Like, it's different now, man. It's completely different. His role has changed. He needs to bring money in here. He needs to continue to grow this place. I mean, this could be the last job that Rob Higgins ever has. You imagine Rob Higgins doing this for the next 20 years? How big is USF going to be in 2 decades? Bigger than I think anyone could ever imagine. All right, a big thank you to our guests today. What a show. 3 fantastic shows. Every show is great, but man, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we have just been crushing it. Jaylen Schuler and Evan Closky on the show today after what Sam Barrington and TJ Reeves did yesterday, and then Ian Beckles on Monday. I love it, man. It's just incredible. Follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. Please share this on all your social media platforms. Kill that like button if you can. It's been a lot of fun. Real quick, Bucs Basement. Should Mike McDaniel be fired this upcoming NFL season? I'd love to bring him in because Grizzard did not impress me in the slightest. The offense, in my opinion, regressed from last season. It's just one game, buddy. It is just one game. You have a brand new offensive line. You don't have a wide receiver in your left tackle. Pump the brakes. You got to give him some time as well. I'm with you. The run game leaves a lot to be desired, but you got to give him some time to see him grow into this. You're not going to have a finished product from a first-time play caller in week 1. Just you got to be patient. And from what I've seen with Mike McDaniel, man, I don't know that that's necessarily the kind of guy we want. He hasn't been able to adapt the last couple of seasons to Tua Tagovailoa. He had everything he wanted. He has 2 number ones with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. It's got a slew of really fast running backs. You got a very accurate passer in Tua. It's just not working out. So I wouldn't be so quick to bring Mike McDaniel in here. I would keep Josh Grizzard for a little while and see what you got with him. Tomorrow, Rob Motti from AP, the Associated Press, going to join us on the program. Friday, Trevor Sycamore. Hopefully you'll be there with us as well as we continue to preview the Bulls matchup with the Hurricanes and, of course, the Monday night matchup with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Houston Texans. Easy for me to say it. The 3rd time I'll get it right. I love you all. Everybody have a wonderful Wednesday here in the Tampa Bay area, and we'll see you tomorrow at noon right here on the Jay Recher Podcast.